Hey everybody, it's time for game 3 of 4 of the Elite 8 matchups. First game, Brooklyn bested the Orioles thanks to a couple of home runs by Roy Campanella to advance to the Final Four. And just recently, the 78 Yankees outlasted the Moneyball A's in 13 innings as the Yankees of 78 will advance. That's Ron Guidry against Don Newcomb in the Final Four matchup in this side of the bracket. The right side of the bracket needs to be determined. We've got the 61 Yankees against the 79 We Are Family Pirates. And we have today's matchup, which is the 86 Mets against the 2003 Yankees. 86 Mets, of course, the higher seed. They're the number 4 seed in the tournament. 23 of the 03 Yankees is a 21 seed. So let's look at the starting lineups first for the visiting. And I say that in air quotes because we're not playing in New York at Shea Stadium or at any of those places. This is a neutral field, but due to the higher seed, the Mets will get the last at bat. So here is our starting lineups for today's game. Derek Jeter will lead off at short. Bernie Williams is in center. Alfonso Soriano's at second. Jason Giambi is the DH. Jorge Posada's catching. Hideki Matsui will be in left field. Raul Mondesi's in right. Nick Johnson's at first. And Aaron Boone is at third. And on the mound for the 2003 Yankees, Roger Clemens, 17-9, 3.91 ERA. Now they'll face the 86 Mets, and they will look this way. Leading off will be center fielder Lenny Dykstra. Batting second will be left fielder Mookie Wilson. Hitting third at first base is Keith Hernandez. Batting cleanup is Gary Carter. He'll be doing the catching. In right field is Darryl Strawberry. He'll hit fifth. Batting sixth is third baseman Ray Knight. Batting seventh is the DH Howard Johnson. Batting eighth at second base Wally Backman, and batting ninth at shortstop Rafael Santana. And on the mound, lefty Bob Ojeda. 1986 was 18-5 with a 2.57 ERA. So Ojeda will be finishing up his warm-up tosses, and we'll bring the scorebook in so that we are just about ready to go. Let me slide this over so we can make sure we include the scorebook and still fit the player cards in. If I have to go vertical, I will. Maybe I better do it this way. Maybe that's a better way to do it. That way we can see both cards definitively and also see the score sheet. All right, I'm just going to go with basic red, the standard white, red, and blue. I guess that's kind of the basic standard strat dice, although these are the numbered dice because I like to use these more than the dots because that way I don't have to sit there and add up dots on the fly. I can just go right off the bat. All right, so we are ready to go. One toss is done by Ojeda. Derek Jeter steps into the plate against Ojeda, and this Elite 8 game is underway in New York, New York. 6-5 Ojeda against a righty. That's trouble. 1-2 is a triple, 3-20 is a single, so Derek Jeter's going to get aboard, most likely a single, and that's what it is, leadoff single for Derek Jeter. And we'll see if he is looking to run. He's a B stealer, so probably not. He will be held. Carter has a 0 arm, so that won't affect anything. It's basically a 50-50 shot. You start as a 13, -3 for being held makes him a 10. So 1-10, Jeter would make it. But when you got the lineup the Yankees have, you don't want to really run yourself out of an inning. So they'll hold him pat, but he will not steal, but he will be held by the Mets. So here's Bernie Williams. 5-9, 5-9's a fly ball to center. And that's one away, handled by Dykstra. So one down for Alfonso Soriano. 2-6 for Soriano against a lefty, and that's damage done again. 1-8's a triple, 9-20 is a double. 1-8 he definitely scores, 9-20 he may score. That is a 5, it's a triple for Alfonso Soriano. So the RBI triple for Soriano. Yankees lead it 1-0. Over the 86 Mets, and the infield's going to have to come in. They don't want to give up a second run in this inning if they can avoid it. Jason Giambi is up, but the infield is in. 3-11 for Giambi. Ground ball pitcher A. So since it's a ground ball pitcher A, I will go to my little chart here. Runner on third. Ground ball A is a 1, and that says batter out, runners hold. So the ball's hit right back to Ojeda, so Soriano had to freeze. And just throws out Giambi easily for out number 2. Now the infield can go back to their normal positions, but they're not out of the woods yet. They still have to deal with Jorge Posada, dangerous switch-hitting catcher. 5-9, but not this time. It's a fly to center. Had that happen with less than 3 out or less than 2 outs, that would have been a sac fly, but it didn't. So actually Ojeda and the Mets get out of that pretty fortunate, only allowing the 1 run. So we go to the bottom of the first. It is the Yankees 1 and the Mets coming up. Roger Clemens warm-up tosses, and he'll be facing Nails, Lenny Dykstra. Lenny Dykstra. 1-5 for Dykstra, and he's going to draw a leadoff walk, and you know he's looking to run. He's a double-A stealer. Have to check Posada for his throwing arm. Posada's throwing arm is a 0, so pretty good chance that Dykstra is going to make it. Double-A starts as a 17, being held as a 15, and 0 arm, we stay at a 15. So 1-15, Dykstra steals. 14, he barely made it, but he does make it. Gets in under the tag of Jeter. So he's at second base with nobody out. He will, of course, be held. And Mookie Wilson, the batter. Normally, the Mets like to put Wally Backman second, but I decided to move Backman down the lineup, move Mookie Wilson up in the lineup against Roger. So we'll see how it plays out. 4-5, switch hitter, 4-5, struck him out. So that would have been Backman or Wilson. It wouldn't have mattered. That would have been a strikeout either way. So he's out of there, 1 away for Keith Hernandez. 4-11. 4-11, ground ball first base X. That's I'm sorry, 4-11 is a ground ball second base A. I was looking at 5-11. 4-11 is ground ball second base A. So good play by Soriano. Dykstra will move to third, but now there are 2 outs, and it's up to Gary Carter to bring him home. 2 outs, runner at third. Gary Carter, 1-5, and he lines it to third, snagged by Boone, and they leave Dykstra on third base. So after 1 inning of play, it is 1-0, favor of the Yankees, as they try to upset the 86 Mets. 2003 Yankees have already pulled a few upsets. They beat the 84 Tigers, who were the 12 seed, and then they beat the 71 Pirates, who were the 28 seed, who was really not the upset, but the big upset was beating the Tigers of 84 and Jack Morris. So they're not afraid of the Mets, obviously. So here's Matsui, lefty on lefty. This is, I believe his nickname was Godzilla. 5-5, and he flies to center. So easy play for Dykstra. 1 away. And here's Raul Mondesi. 5-7 against Ojeda. That's ground ball second base X. That's Wally Backman. And Backman checks in as a 3 E30. 3 E30 at second base. 3-17, he'll get to that. E30 and a 10. I don't think there's usually many errors on 10s, and there's not this time either. So Wally Backman makes the play. 2 down, and that will bring up the first baseman, Nick Johnson. Nick Johnson, lefty on lefty. 2-4, fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. Nothing doing there for the Yankees. I could have used a right-handed DH and let Giambi play first, but I really wanted a good defensive first baseman. And Nick Johnson does okay against lefties. Just didn't get a hit that time. But he's not handcuffed by lefties by any stretch of the imagination. All right, here's the straw man, Darryl Strawberry, taking on Roger Clemens. 6-2 off of Clemens as a ground ball pitcher X. He's a 3 E7 for Roger. 3 E7. 3 and a 9. He'll get to that. E7 and an 11. Make sure there's no 11. There's a 12, but there's no 11. So good play for Clemens. He makes the play. 1 away. And that will bring up Ray Knight. 5-6. And he struck him out. So Clemens gets the K for out number 2. And these 2003 Yankees can be dangerous. They've got Mussina, Pettit, and Clemens, 3 really good starters that can shut anybody down at any time. Here's Hojo, switch hitter batting left, 6-11. Struck him out, didn't matter. Hojo's out of there. And we go to the third. Still 1-0 Yanks. So Ojeda back out. He's got fatigue of 7, and Clemens has a fatigue of 6. So as we get closer to that, keep an eye on it. Well, I haven't been writing in my score sheet on my runs here, did I? All right, top of the third we go. Aaron Boone, 5-7 against Ojeda. Ground ball second base X again. That's Backman, 3 E30. 3 E30, 3 and a 10, he'll get to that. E30 and a 15. And I think on the E30, 15 is an error. There it is, right there. On an E30 for a second baseman, a 15 is, a 15 is right there on E30. So that's a one base error on Backman. E4. And Boone is aboard. Brings up Derek Jeter. He's an A bunter, but he's a pretty good hitter, so you don't know if you want to waste an out on a bunt there. So I'm thinking that he is just going to, well, you know what? Actually, Jeter will bunt. They're going to play to try to get a 2-run lead if they can. Jeter will bunt. He's A bunter becomes a B bunter, and that's a 4. Should be okay. B bunter and a 4. Batter is thrown up by pitcher, runners advance, so no problems there. So that's just going to be a 1-4 on the sacrifice. And it's Backman covered second since Hernandez was charging. And Boone now takes second base. So he's at second base with 1 out. He's a B stealer, so he will have to be held at second base. And Bernie Williams, the batter. Bernie Williams. Switch hitter batting right. 4-5. 4-5. Fly to center. That's 2 down. So now it's going to be up to Alfonso Soriano. First base is open with Giambi up next. Will be lefty on lefty. Soriano just tripled, so they're going to intentionally walk Soriano and play the percentages. And now there's 2 on, 2 out for Jason Giambi. 6-2, 6-2. Ground ball, shortstop X. That's Santana. And Santana checks in as a 2 E23. 2 and an E23. 2 and a 6, he'll get to that. E23 and a 6. There is no 6, so it's a good play. And since there are already 2 outs, there's no worry of looking for a double play or anything. It's just simply, we're just going to call it a 6-3 to end the inning. So they got around that, intentionally walking the dangerous Soriano. Could have been a little bit questionable, but it worked out. And that'll bring up Clemens to start the bottom of the third. Still 1-0 Yanks. And here's Wally Backman. 6-10 against the lefty for Clemens. 6-10, fly to center. Handled by Bernie Williams, 1 away. And here's Rafael Santana, the shortstop. Santana. 1-3 for Santana. That's a single to right field. Single to right field for Santana. He is an E stealer. He will not be held. Here's Lenny Dykstra. 2-9 for Dykstra. Ground ball, first base B. Nick Johnson will go to Jeter for the force on Santana. 3-6. Dykstra is the new runner, which means he's looking to steal again as a double-A. Once again, the factors turn to 1-15 as a stolen base, so they're going to try it. And it's in there. So 2 stolen bases for Dykstra. He's back in scoring position with 2 outs for Mookie Wilson. Mookie Wilson. 6-10 against a lefty. 6-10, fly to center. That's going to end the inning. So Mets strand Dykstra at second again. Well, first time they stranded him at third. Now they strand him at second. And we go to the fourth. Still 1-0 Yankees. Ojeda back out. We'll be facing Posada. Posada, Matsui, and Mondesi. 5-8. Posada switched to batting right. 5-8. Struck him out. So Posada out on strikes. Brings up Matsui. 5-4. 5-4. He's going to pop it up to Keith Hernandez at first. 2 down. And that takes us to Raul Mondesi. 5-6. 5-6. Struck him out. That's going to end the inning. So Ojeda pitching well, but not getting any run support. Still 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. And leading off for the Mets will be Keith Hernandez, followed by Carter and Strawberry. Heart of the order. This is where the Mets need to make some hay. Right here. Hernandez 4-6 against Clemens. 1-3 is a single. Anything else, Soriano will snag it. And he does. It's a liner right to Soriano, 1 away. Brings up Gary Carter. 3-9 for Carter. That's a walk. So Carter draws a 1-out walk. He's an E stealer. He will not be held. And now it's Strawberry time. See if Strawberry can get it done. 3-9. 3-9 for Strawberry. Fly ball to right. That's 2 away. So now it's all on the shoulders of Ray Knight. 5-6 against Clemens is a strikeout, so that's going to end the inning. Clemens now 4 strikeouts in 4 innings, and he's tossing a shutout. In fact, he's tossing a 1-hit shutout. The only hit was Santana's single. Everything else has been walks. So 1-hit shutout through 4 innings for Clemens. And it's not that Ojeda's pitching poorly. He's just not getting any run support. We start the top of the 5th. It'll be Nick Johnson, Boone, and then Jeter. Lefty on lefty for Johnson, 4-7. Ground ball shortstop X, that's Santana. He's a 2E23. 2 and a 5, he'll get to that. E23 and a 12 should be no problem. It is not, because he had a 13 was an error, but 12 is not. So he was just able to get that over to first and get that with no problems. 1 away, Aaron Boone. 2-12 for Boone against a lefty. That's a walk. So a 1-out walk to Boone. He's a base stealer. He will have to be held. But Derek Jeter, the batter. And actually, they're going to try a hit and run. Since they're holding the runner, Jeter's hit and run becomes an A. So they're going to try an A hit and run on this advanced sheet. A hit and run. We get an 11. Oh, that's interesting. Hit and run and an 11. Ground out first base runners advance. So acted like a sacrifice per se. But now there are 2 outs. So it's Hernandez makes the play unassisted. Boone does go to second. He's in scoring position with 2 outs for Bernie Williams. So Bernie Williams a chance to extend the lead for the Yankees. We get a 3-8 against a lefty. And all these hits in column 3, and he found his ground ball to the pitcher. So Ojeda got out of that without any issues. Could have been some trouble there, but he was able to pitch around it. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 1-0 Yankees. Both starters hanging in there against the tough lineups. And Hojo Howard Johnson, the DH, will lead things off for the Mets against Roger. He struck out his first chance. 1-9. He's going to walk this time. Leadoff walk to Hojo. And he's a base stealer, so they will have to hold him on for Wally Backman. Backman could bunt, but then you got Santana and Dykstra, so you know what? They're going to bunt. With nobody out, they're going to bunt. So Backman's going to bunt. He's a bunter, becomes a B bunter. B and a 4 on a sacrifice bunt. Batter thrown up by pitcher, runners advance. So it's a good play. Sacrifice hit 1-4. Soriano covering from Clemens. And now Johnson's at second base with 1 out. And they got 2 chances for a hit. Santana, who singled his last time up. In fact, he's got the only hit of the game for the Mets. 3-5 for Santana. This time he grounds to third, and that will hold the runner. 2 down. And it's up to Nails. Lenny Dykstra's got to get it done. 3-3. He will not. He grounds to Jeter at short. And the Mets again are going to leave a runner in scoring position. So that's been the story of the game so far. Mets leaving runners in scoring position. Can't get it done. So we go to the 6th. Still 1-0. And it will be Soriano to lead things off for the Yankees. He was intentionally walked last time up. Tripled his first time. We get a 6-5. 6-5. He may triple again. 1-2 is a triple. 3-20 is a single. It's a single for Soriano. Leadoff single. So he's 2 for 2. He's a double-A stealer, so he's looking to run. Starts as a 17. Being held makes him a 15. And Carter has a 0 arm. So it's again a 1-15 for Soriano. And he's in there. Stolen base for Soriano. So Soriano says to Dykstra, anything you can do, I can do. He's at second base with nobody out. And Jason Giambi, the batter. 6-6 against a lefty. And that is a 1-6 single. 7-20. He lines it right to Backman. And that's a liner to Backman. Soriano gets back. 1 away. And that takes us to Jorge Posada. 1-11 for Posada against a lefty. It's ground ball shortstop A. That's going to freeze the runner at second base. So there's 2 down. And now it's Hideki Matsui, lefty on lefty with Ojeda. 6-10 for Ojeda. Catcher X, that is Gary Carter. And Gary Carter checks in as a 1E3. So 1E3. 1 is in a 15 is obviously a good play. 1 in a 15 is going to be a foul out. So check the error. He's a 12 on the dice. It's 12. And he is an He is an E3. Should be okay. E3 catcher. There's a 16 and 18, but no 12. So it's simply going to be a foul out. So he fouls out to his counterpart, Gary Carter, to end the inning. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Pitching duel still intact. Now this will be Clemens' point of weakness inning because he has a 6 as his rating. So got to keep an eye on that. But Mets haven't really done anything against him. But he does have the heart of the order. He's got Wilson, Hernandez, and Carter, and Strawberry waiting in the wings. Mookie Wilson, 2-9 for Mookie Wilson. That's a solid double for Mookie Wilson to start the bottom of the 6th. So now you got to really keep an eye on Clemens. Mookie Wilson will, of course, have to be held. Here's Keith Hernandez, 1-9 for Hernandez. Ground ball to first. That'll move the runner to third. So Hernandez does his job moving the runner to third base with less than 2 outs. Now the Yankees will have to bring the infield in as Gary Carter steps in. 2-5 for Carter. Ground ball shortstop A. And again, with the infield in and a runner at third, that A becomes a number 1, which turns into batter out, runners hold. So Wilson had to hold. Now there's 2 down, and now it's up to Darryl Strawberry to get it done, or they'll still leave another runner in scoring position. 2-5, and they do. Fly to center. That's going to end the inning. So yet another runner left in scoring position by the Mets. They left 1, 2, 3. That's the 4th runner they left in scoring position. So that's going to come back to haunt them for sure. So we start the top of the 7th, and this is Ojeda's point of weakness. So keep an eye on him. Here's Mondesi, 0 for 2. 2-6, not this time. It's a solid double for Raul Mondesi. A leadoff double. And now the Met bullpen is loosening as Roger McDowell is tossing down there. So he's quickly tossing just in case. Here's Nick Johnson. 3-5 for Johnson. 3-5, struck him out. Big strikeout there by Ojeda. And that's 1 away for Aaron Boone. 2-5 for Boone, struck him out. So here comes Ojeda. He saw that bullpen activity and said, wait a minute, I'm still good. But he's got to get by Derek Jeter. Can he get by Jeter? 5-6, he can, struck him out. So he comes back to strike out the side after giving up that leadoff double. And the goose egg continues after that first inning. And it's still 1-0 as we go to the 7th inning stretch. Clemens only had 1 knock against his point of weakness, so he's still okay. Ray Knight, the batter. Let's look at the Yankee bullpen just in case Clemens would begin to falter. Of course, they got Mariano Rivera at the end, but they need some middle relief. They do have righty Jeff Nelson and lefty Felix Heredia. Those are the 2 main guys that are setup men, so keep an eye on that. Heredia and Nelson are both now loosening in the bullpen. Here's Ray Knight, 2-3, fly to center, that's 1 away. And that's going to bring up Howard Johnson, DH. 2-8 for Howard, struck him out. So Clemens doesn't look like he needs relief anytime soon. Here's Wally Backman. 110 for Backman, that's a single. So finally a hit there. And now we may have a pinch hitter for Santana, who was a .218 hitter on the season, even though he does have a hit here. Let's look at the pinch hitters they could go with. They could go with Kevin Mitchell. And Kevin Mitchell can turn around and play shortstop. Not very well, but he can do it. He's a 4E48. But you would give up some defense to get some offense. Or they could just let him hit, but he may not get around his order again. So you know what? They're going to make the move. Kevin Mitchell is going to come in and pinch hit, and he's going to stay in the game and play short as a 4E48. So Kevin Mitchell pinch hitting and then taking over at shortstop. But with the runner on, they want to get some offense in the game, or at least what they perceive as offense in the game. So Kevin Mitchell has his chance right here against Clemens. 2-7. And he's going to fail most likely. A 1 is a single. Anything else, he lines to Jeter. That's a liner to Jeter to end the inning. And let's see what Santana on a 2-7. He would have flown to left, so he would have made an out also. So it really didn't matter, except now they have obviously a much lesser defensive shortstop with Kevin Mitchell in the game. But sometimes you got to gamble, and that's what Davey Johnson did. Now, Ojeda could still come in. He's only given up one notch against his point of weakness, and he did strike out the last three he faced. You also have Roger McDowell waiting in the wings. So they may make the move here. Let's see. They may want a fresh arm. Tough call. Tough call. You know what? They're going to stick with Ojeda until he gets in trouble. But McDowell is ready and waiting. So here is Bernie Williams, switch hitter against Ojeda. We got a 3-6. 3-6 for Bernie Williams as a lefty. 1-5 is a home run. 6-20 is a fly to left field. And Wilson will catch it. But 1-5 and the Yankees take a 2-0 lead. It's a 10, so it's danger, Will Robinson, but Mookie Wilson makes the catch. And now with Soriano coming up, they may go to McDowell here. I think they will. So they're going to go ahead and make the move. They want the righty to face Soriano. So Roger McDowell in 1986, 14-9, 3.02 ERA. It doesn't say how many saves on this card, so I don't know how many saves he had. I'm sure he had a few. Jesse Orosco was mainly the closer, but McDowell did some closing as well. So Ojeda goes 7 1/3, and to this point, only allowing 1 run. In fact, that's all it is because there's nobody on base now. So 1 run was all he allowed, and he faced 29 batters. How many hits did he give up? 1, 2. Let's see, 2, just 2, 3, 4. Only gave up 4 hits. Walked a couple. One of them was intentional. So now Soriano will be facing McDowell. With 1 out here in the top of the 8th. 4-9 for McDowell. 4-9, ground ball to second. And that's out number 2. And now that sends up Jason Giambi. 3-10 for Giambi. Grounds to second. Handled by Backman. And the inning is over. So McDowell finishes out the 8th in style. Keeps everything right where it is. And now Dykstra will be leading things off for the Mets against Roger Clemens. And again, Clemens still has some juice left. He's only given up 2 hits since his point of weakness inning, and he's allowed up to 4 base runners. So he's still good to go. Here's Dykstra to lead it off. I want to keep him off the bases if you're the Yankees. 5-11, ground ball first base X. That is Nick Johnson. And Nick Johnson is a 2-E14. 2-E14 for Nick Johnson. 2 and a 7, he'll get to that. E14 and 11 should not be a problem. E14, there is a 12, but no 11. So good play for Nick Johnson as they retire Dykstra. That brings up Mookie Wilson. 4-11 for Wilson. Again, he's a switcher batting left, so 4-11 is a ground ball to second. Soriano's got it. 2 down, and now Mariano Rivera is light tossing down there as Nelson and Heredia have sat down. We're at that point now where Rivera could finish it out if need be. Here's Hernandez. 2-11 for Hernandez. That's a ground ball to first. Nick Johnson's got it. Inning's over. So Roger Clemens tosses 8 shutout innings, and they will turn it over to Mariano Rivera in the 9th. And McDowell will stay in the game, I believe, to face Posada. Or they might go to Orosco. Let's see. Are they going to go to Orosco? You know what? They're going to go to Jesse Orosco because they got some lefties coming up. So Jesse Orosco will be the new pitcher for the Mets. McDowell pitches 2/3 of an inning and only faced 2 batters, got them both out. But now Orosco is in. He's got the switch hitter Posada, then he's got a lefty Matsui, then a righty Mondesi, and a lefty Johnson. So that's the reason for the move there. And like I said, Rivera is loosening in the Yankee bullpen to come in the bottom of the 9th. 1-0 Yankees, and we're in the top of the 9th. And after a 13-inning game in the previous game with the Yankees and A's, a swift 9-inning game is just what I'm looking for, but we'll see. We got the 9th to go. Anything can happen. Here's Posada, 3-7 against the lefty. He's going to ground to second, handled by second baseman Backman. And there's one away. The Mets do have Danny Heap as a pinch hitter off the bench if they need him. Right now they got some good hitters coming up, so you would only use him if you get down in this part of the order. Here's Matsui. 4-9, lefty on lefty. 4-9. I'm sorry, it is a strikeout. 4-9 is a strikeout. I was looking at 5-9, which was also a strikeout. So 2 up, 2 down, and here is Raul Mondesi. 5-6, struck him out. So Orozco definitely did his job. 3 up, 3 down with 2 Ks. And we go to the bottom of the 9th, last chance for the Mets. And they'll have to do it against Mariano Rivera. Roger Clemens goes 8 innings, 8 shutout innings. You could argue he could try to finish the game, but I think conventional wisdom would say bring in the fresh Rivera. So no runs allowed. See how many hits he allowed. 1, 2, 3. He pitches a 3-hit shutout through 8 innings, facing 30 batters. Did walk a couple, but pretty much he was large and in charge. So Rivera coming in, and in 2003 he was 5-2, 1.66 ERA and 40 saves. So it's kind of hard to argue not bringing him in. All right, we got Carter, Strawberry, and Knight. So 4, 5, and 6. Could pinch hit for Knight because Knight doesn't do that well. So it looks like to me Danny Heap has picked up a bat, and he will hit for Ray Knight. So Danny Heap will hit for Ray Knight, and if it does go extra innings, they could play Tim Tuffle at third. So let's get Danny Heap involved and get Ray Knight out of there. So it's going to be Carter, Strawberry, and Heap is actually going to be the order, because Heap is going to hit for Knight. And like I said, if they somehow miraculously get a run and take it to extra innings, Tim Tuffle can play third. All right, so here it is, Rivera against Carter, bottom of the 9th, 1-0 Yankees. That 1 run came in the first inning on a triple by Soriano. 4-6. 4-6 for Rivera, and that's a base hit. Look at that. His column 4 has got, he can be had in column 4. 4-6, 1-6 is a double, 7-20 is a single. That is a double for Gary Carter. Gary Carter, a leadoff double. Now, do you pinch run for Gary Carter? Because he's an E-stealer, doesn't run very well. Let's see if they got on the bench. Do they have anybody that can run? Not really. I guess no. Tim Tuffle's not much better. So they really don't have much in the way of running. Their best runner is Danny Heap, but he's got a pinch hit. So we're going to leave Carter where he is and just play it cautiously. Here's Strawberry. He's the winning run. 6-5 against Rivera, struck him out. So Rivera gets the strikeout on Strawman. 1 away, and now the pinch hitter Danny Heap in there for Ray Knight, trying to get it done. 6-4 against a lefty. 6-4 against a lefty. Fly ball center field X. That's Bernie Williams, and Bernie Williams checks in as a 3 E1. So not much in the error range, but he certainly has a mediocre or average range. So the error is not a problem, but the range might be. 3-1 is definitely going to be a problem. 3-1 for an outfielder, for center fielder. 3-1 is a double. That's going to be a 3-base advancement, but Carter's already at second, so we got a tie game automatically. That's a 7. He's an E1, no problem there. But we got a tie game. Danny Heap, the pinch hitter, hits a pinch hit double. Pinch hit double by Danny Heap. And we have tied the score. And don't tell me we're going to go 13 innings again. I don't think I can take it. All right, here's Hojo. Howard Johnson. Howard Johnson is up. Now, do they walk Howard Johnson and pitch to Backman? Set up the force play? I think they will. So they're going to walk Hojo intentionally, because his run doesn't mean anything. It does set up now a force play. They're at double play depth for Wally Backman. 2-9 for Backman. Ground ball first base B. That's a fielder's choice. 3-6. Oops. 3-6 fielder's choice. But Heap goes to third. So Heap is at third. Runners are at the corners. With 2 outs, Backman's a B stealer. He will have to be held. For Kevin Mitchell, who took over at shortstop for Santana. And he's a much better hitter, obviously, than Santana is. So they're trying to walk this off against Rivera. 3-5. Won't do it. It's a strikeout. We're going to extra innings. Just what I needed, extra innings. Needed like I needed a hole in the head. But here we go, extra innings, and now we got some work to do here to figure out defense. Tim Tuffle's going to take over at third base as Heap pinch hit for Ray Knight. So Tuffle is the new third baseman. He's a 4.37, not very good, obviously. 4.37 for Tuffle. So Tuffle takes over at third base. All right, so Rivera blew the save, and you can question whether or not we should have let Roger get the complete game, but when you got a Hall of Famer like Rivera, I mean, it's kind of hard not to go for him. All right, now there's a situation for Orozco. If he pitches this second inning, he will not be available in the final four, but you got to get there first, so they're going to stick with Orozco. And he's going to be facing Nick Johnson, Aaron Boone, and Jeter. Now, the Yankees could pinch hit for Nick Johnson. See if they got any more first basemen on the bench. They actually do not. So if they did, they'd have to move Giambi to first and lose the DH. So I guess they're going to stick with Nick Johnson. So Nick Johnson against Orozco. 1-7 for Johnson. All these hits in column one, he found a fly to center. So that's out number one. Here's Aaron Boone. Boone, 4-2 against a right-hander. Ground ball back to Orozco. So Orozco, 5 up, 5 down so far. Here's Derek Jeter. 4-7. 4-7 is a 2-out walk to Jeter. He's a B stealer. They could try to send him. Take a chance. It'd be a 50-50 chance. He'd be a 10. 1-10 would get him in safely. So with 2 outs, I think you're going to take that chance to try to get in scoring position. 1-10, and he steals it. And he does. Plus, it's a 3. We got a possible throwing error on Gary Carter. And Carter is a T rating of 5. So T rating of 5 for Carter. Nope, no error, but it is going to be a stolen base for Jeter. And he gets into scoring position with 2 outs for Bernie Williams. That's huge. Base hit could give the Yankees back the lead. Here's Bernie Williams. 5-4. 5-4 is a strikeout by Orozco to end the inning. So he gets it done. Orozco goes 2 innings. That's going to be the most he's going to be able to go. He will be done after 2 innings. Well, you might as well use Rivera again. I mean, you want to keep the game going, don't you? So I don't think you can pull him now because you got to try to see if you can get yourself out of this. Then again, if he doesn't do it, you know what? He might be at his fatigue. You know, they're gonna pull Rivera because obviously he doesn't have his stuff. So they're gonna bring in with Mitchell. It's Mitchell, Dykstra, and Wilson. They're gonna bring in the lefty Felix Heredia. Heredia, the lefty for the Yankees, 5-3, 2.69 ERA and a save. So a rare blown save by Rivera, and it's going to be Heredia. Now, if the Yankees do advance, then that means Rivera would be available in their next game because they only went the 1 inning. But they got to get there first. That's the question. All right, bottom of the 10th, tied at 1. Here's Kevin Mitchell. I'm sorry, it's not Kevin Mitchell. It's Dykstra. Mitchell struck out his last time. Forgot to move the thing here. It's actually Dykstra leading off. 4-9 for Dykstra against Heredia. 4-9 is an in-home run chance. Dykstra, however, with weak power, so 1-17 would only be a single, and 18-20 is a flyout. So it's a single. It would have been a homer, except for the fact that he had weak power against lefties. So, and of course, Dykstra's going to run again. I mean, 1-15, why wouldn't you? 1-15 will do it. And he's in there. Third stolen base of the game for Dykstra. He's been a menace to the Yankees. He gets on second base now. Now is when you can start walking guys if you really wanted to set up force plays. But they're going to go ahead and pitch to Wilson. They're not going to do the intentional walk just yet. Wilson is up. 2-11 for Wilson. 2-11, ground ball shortstop B. And that's going to freeze the runner. 1 away for Keith Hernandez. 6-5, lefty on lefty, struck him out. So Keith Hernandez out on strikes. Heredia gets the strikeout. Now, what do you do? Gary Carter is up. He doubled his last time up. They're going to intentionally walk Gary Carter and pitch to Strawberry, lefty on lefty. It's a controversial move, I know, but they're going with their gut on this one. So going with the gut, and it's going to be Strawberry against Heredia, lefty on lefty, 2 on, 2 out, bottom of the 10th, tied at 1. 6-4, fly ball center field X, that's Bernie Williams. He's a 3-E1, so if he can get to it, he's probably going to catch it. But last time it fell in against him for a double, so we'll see. 3 and a 12, he should get to that. 3 and a 12. 3 and a 12 is an F2, and it's an 11, and he's an E1, so no problems there. So corralled by Williams, and that's going to end the inning. We're going to the 11th. And my worst fears that are upon me is because now it looks like another long, drawn-out game after it was going so smoothly. But now, for the Mets, they will bring in right-hander Doug Sisk. Doug Sisk, 4-2, 3.06 ERA for the Mets. They've already used McDowell and Orozco, and now it's Sisk. And he's going to be facing Soriano, Giambi, and Posada here in the 11th. 4-11 is a ground ball pitcher X. That is a 2-E0. So he is a 2-E0, so we don't need to worry about an error. We're just checking on range. 2 and a 4, I think he'll get to that. Let's double check it. A 2 and a 4, just to be sure. 2 and a 4 is a G3, so good play. So Sisk up to the task, gets out Soriano, brings up Giambi. He's been quiet, he's 0 for 4, 3-4, and he gets hit by a pitch. So he gets plunked, does Giambi. He's an E-stealer. Do they bring in a pinch runner for Giambi? I think when I was looking earlier, there's not a whole lot of speed on the base paths for the Yankees. Well, they do have Juan Rivera. He runs at a 13, but he's also an E-stealer. Giambi runs at a 10, so it's not that much difference. So I think they're going to leave Giambi where he is. Here is Posada. Switch hitter 6-5, 6-5. Ground ball second base C. That'll move the runner to second. So Giambi will get to second base on the 4-3 ground out. So now it's all up to Hideki Matsui. Of course, they could walk Matsui, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to intentionally walk Matsui and pitch to Mondesi to get that righty-on-righty matchup, and Matsui, a much better hitter than Mondesi in theory anyway. So we'll see what happens. 2 on, 2 out. Top of the 11th, tied at 1. Sisk to Mondesi, 5-8. Pops him up to third. Tuffle's got it. And the inning is over. So we go to the bottom of the 11th. Still tied at 1. And now let's check and see if Heredia will stay in the game or not. They do have Tuffle, Johnson, and Backman due up. So let's see how they want to play this. Heredia had some issues last inning. They're going to go with Jeff Nelson. Jeff Full Nelson is going to come on. Jeff Nelson, 4-2, 3.74 ERA, and 8 saves. So Jeff Nelson, Heredia goes 1 inning. Jeff Nelson, and they want him available as a lefty specialist next round if they get there. So Nelson is going to do it. He's going to be facing Tuffle, who's the new third baseman. Tuffle will lead things off, followed by Hojo and Backman. 3-5 for Tuffle. That's a solid double. So how about that? Tim Tuffle with a solid double to lead things off. He's an E-stealer. He's not going to be held. He doesn't run very well. Now Hojo, not a very good bunter, obviously. So I don't know if they want to have him swing away or they have him bunt or what they want to do. Let's look at their bench. They do have George Foster and Ed Hearn, the backup catcher. Those are the only 2 bench players they have left. So I don't think there's anything there that neither one of those guys can bunt very well. Ed Hearn is a C bunter, but so was Howard Johnson. So they're just going to let Hojo swing away, I guess. And here is Jeff Nelson to Hojo. Thought about intentionally walking, but we went and pitched to him. 4-12. Struck him out. Good move. Is Hojo out on strikes. So now here's Wally Backman. 1-12 for Backman. He fouls out to Posada. That's 2 down. That brings up Kevin Mitchell. Not going to intentionally walk Kevin Mitchell because Dykstra's on deck, so they're going to take their chances with Mitchell and see what happens. 5-5. Struck him out, so Jeff Nelson comes through after the leadoff double. Comes in and does the job. We go to the 12th, still tied at 1 apiece in another long, drawn-out war of attrition. Now Nelson may be done. We'll have to wait and see. He's only got a 1 relief rating, but he didn't give up much, so he could still maybe go some more. Sisk has a 3 relief rating, so he's good for at least 2 innings. He's going to stay in there to face Nick Johnson as we start the top of the 12th. Nick Johnson, Aaron Boone, and Derek Jeter due up. 4-4 off of Sisk is a fly to left. Mookie Wilson makes the play, 1 away, and here's Aaron Boone. Boone, 4-2, struck him out. So Boone out on strikes, 2 down. Sends up Derek Jeter. 3-4 for Jeter. He's hit by the pitch plus injury. So a chance that Derek Jeter has to leave this game. A 1-6 he stays in. 7-20 he's got to go. It's a 10. He's gone. Derek Jeter is out of here. So Derek Jeter is going to have to leave the game. And they will need a pinch runner and a new shortstop. I don't even think they have anybody rated to play shortstop on their bench, do they? Let's see. Let me see who their backup shortstop is supposed to be. Backup shortstop for the Yankees on the players I have carded. Let's see where Aaron Boone can play short. If they had to, they can move him to short and put Robin Ventura at third. I guess that would be the option. Let's check that out. Make sure Boone is rated. I think he is. Pretty sure he is rated. He is not actually on the card that I have because I'm using the one he had just for the Yankees. He has a double card with another team, so he is not rated to play short. So I'll have to get somebody else to play short. Looks like it's going to be Eric Almonte, who is definitely a minor league guy with limited duty, although Enrique Wilson is also there. So it looks like Enrique Wilson would be the guy. My bad. So Enrique Wilson is going to come over and play shortstop. He is a 4 E8, so obviously not as good as Jeter.